What's up YouTube, how you guys doing? In this video I wanted to share my experience driving from Florida to Tennessee, which is almost 2,000 miles round trip, and I wanted to share my experience while I was in the Tesla Model 3. This is standard range 2021. I specifically want to touch on charging situation. How was this compared to a road trip like on a normal car, and is this possible to take a car like this on a big road trip, either if it's from Tennessee to Florida or it's from California to Utah. And lastly, I would like to give you guys some tips and input how to get a trip like this satisfying instead of a disaster and stressful situation trying to find charging spots. So let's buckle up our seatbelts and let's go.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but mines keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let her tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution.
Tesla routes you through the superchargers, so I gotta stop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before I get there. And it says that I will get there in 15 hours and 30 minutes. I'm gonna have to stop for 20, 25 minutes, 25, 25, 20, 20, 25. That's not bad at all. So what it does is Tesla charges really fast to 80%, and then the rest 20% it takes a little while. So let's just say first 80% it charges maybe like in 25-30 minutes, but last 20 takes forever. So the way this thing routes you is to save time by charging up to 80% and not waste time on those last 20. So let me go ahead and show you my charging experience, how much extra time it took me compared to a regular car. Was this inconvenient at all? So let me touch on some details and let's get to it. All right, this is my first stop. I drove for about 2 hours, 130 miles, and I am in Fort Drums. This is the charging station at the Turnpike rest area. There are about probably more than 10 chargers, and what's cool about it, oh well, first I'm here by myself, and second, on this side is all the Tesla chargers, and then on this side is all the Electrical America, I guess. So that's the fast chargers for regular EV cars, and these are the fast Tesla chargers. 447 miles an hour. It was getting about 600 at first, so I gotta wait here for 40 minutes. This is actually the longest spot that I have to wait. All the other ones are about 20 minutes each. And one thing I wish to mention is, according to my GPS, I drove here for about 130 miles. According to my battery, I used about 175 miles of the battery, but I only drove about 130. This means I was using more battery than the Tesla predicted, so that's something to keep in mind. It was 40 miles off. So I think it calculates dependent on the speed limit you should be driving, which was 65, but I had my autopilot on 76. So I used more battery than I should, and I'm sure if I was using more than I'm supposed to, it would recalculate and it would tell me to get off on the earlier supercharger. Also, right now is a good time to mention, if you guys use my link to buy a Tesla for yourself, you and me will both get 1,000 miles of free supercharging. So if you've been planning to get this car for a long time and finally you made up your mind, go ahead and use my link and you'll get 1,000 of free supercharging miles on any supercharger station like this. So I already have some free miles that I got from one of you guys, I guess, and right now I'm charging for free. But I'm gonna use most of it for the part of the trip, and on the way back I will calculate actually how much money I spent on every charge being here on the road. All right, good to go. Made it to Ocala right on time, actually 10 minutes early. It's 5:50. We're supposed to get here at 6. Let me tell you, it knows exactly how much electricity you're using, and that's pretty cool. Even though this time I was going like 79 miles an hour, and I still was good, even though the speed limit was like 60, 75, depending on where you at. And when I came here, my battery percentage is exactly 13%, so pretty much I have 34 miles on the battery right now, and I'm actually planning to take a nap, and it's only telling me to charge here for about 20 minutes, even though I'm gonna charge for more probably, just to get some extra miles at almost 700 miles per hour. But like I said, this number will drop the more we charge here, so it's kind of weird and interesting how it works. But I'm gonna set up my bed, and if you guys watch my video camping in Tesla, I highly recommend watching it. And in that video I used a mat that is custom fitted for the Tesla, but in this video, since I have a lot of stuff and I can't really take everything out, and I don't want to because I'm at the parking lot, so I have a regular camping mat, and I'm gonna try to use it now just by opening one of the back seats and just slide it in. And I would love to see how it holds on compared to like pre-fitted Tesla mattresses that they sell on Amazon. In the app, it will tell you how many more minutes to charge before you go. So it says 10 more minutes to continue on your trip. So that's pretty cool, and it will give you a notification before you want to go or not. So I had some good 5-6 hours of sleep, and I woke up to some good breakfast at Wawa. Not too good. And also when I woke up, I saw a couple cars charging by me. I didn't sleep while charging, but there were 2-3 cars in the morning already using the Supercharger station here. I just woke up. Here's the car. It's funny, there's a little tendency, I guess it's only here in Florida maybe, but there are a lot of Superchargers tend to be located by Wawa. That's where I'm at, so I'm having breakfast. And thoughts on the mattress, honestly, it's as comfortable, if not better, than the one that I used, and it's not taking a lot of space. So I'm actually feeling pretty good. Nevertheless, I'm looking probably like, but gonna have some Starbucks and we're gonna keep going. I don't want to show you guys every freaking charging station, but I just wanted to show you this next one as well, because this is the 3rd charging station, and I'm like almost the only one. I guess it's because I left at night and now it's like early morning, but it's like me and another Tesla Model 3 here, and that's about it. And because I charged for a little bit extra on a previous charging station, instead of 20 minutes, now it's telling me to charge for only 15 minutes. And that is it. I think I'm in Jacksonville area, and we will be heading to Georgia and then to Carolina and Tennessee, and then we are at our destination. Also wanted to give you guys a quick update on the bumper. Because of rain, it pretty much all cleared up over the night, and after having the car for about 3 months, I'm already having some small things like right here. That is paint chip, and maybe 1 or 2 in there, so that kind of sucks. But I am not dropping like $500-600 on a film just to wrap the bumper, where I can just buy a freaking new bumper for that price, or I can spend that money to paint it later or whatever. So it's not a big of a deal unless you look real close at it, but I wouldn't bother about it. I actually already bought a kit from Tesla for 60 bucks. They have exact colors on their website. By the way, their shipping takes forever, but it is what it is. But long story short, I believe a company like this making luxury cars need to get better at this. Come on, all the luxury car makers don't have issues like these, and they have way better quality control. So that is one thing that I would love to see Tesla work on, and I hope they hear this feedback, and I'm sure they are aware of their problem. Quick update, we are in Georgia, in a city called Mason, not sure, not far from Atlanta. Another thing that I noticed, if it gets full, the speed goes down, because it's almost like they share one charging, I don't know, unit. So let's say if there's another car parked by you and the charging spot is like 1A, and then the next one is 1B, so it's gonna share the speed of charging. So the speed is gonna go down. So right now it says 500 miles an hour at a 100 kilowatt battery charger. Made it to Atlanta, was 96 miles on this, and I only got it charged for 15 minutes. This is actually the first station that is pretty much all full. There's only like 2 spots empty, and again there are 10 stations in total. I ran into some traffic because of the accident, and because I was going so slow, I actually was getting more mileage per my battery. So instead of charging here for 20 minutes as I was supposed to be, I only have to charge here for 15 minutes because I was driving slower. So something to keep in mind, if you drive slower, that's actually better for you. So no worries about being stuck in traffic or accident. You go over 80, that's when your battery starts to drain way fast. All right, so here it tells you how many minutes remaining you have until you can keep going. So I got 1 minute remaining. And then here you notice something new, because I used my free miles. Now I'm being charged for my charging. So it charged me $3 for this session. If you charging from 0 to 100, it's gonna cost you about 10 bucks. but these sessions are pretty much way less, so you're gonna be paying every time like, I mean, $3. That's what I paid. Max Pro like $5, $7. So this is a weird one. This is the first Supercharger that I actually had to exit like 7 minutes out of the highway, and it's inside of the airport, so I have to pay parking here, which was this much. And not a big deal, but just something different that you can expect. That is not just off the highway. You might drive like 5 to 7 minutes. You might have to pay parking, but the chargers are here as good as the other ones. It's just only 5 of them. I should be done here within like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but I'm probably gonna stay even longer so I can get to Townsend and be left with more miles while I'm there, because I don't know my options there. That's when I'm out of Supercharger network, and I will have to be using either Tesla destination charger, which I found one there. It's in a property of one of the hotels, so let's see how that goes. And I also found 2 other just regular EV chargers, and I'm probably gonna leave the car there overnight. That way I'll get the full charge in about 8 hours, and I don't have to worry about driving in the mountains, because I'm gonna have a full 260 miles on a car. And so this was my last charging spot, and it only took about an hour to drive from here to Townsend, Tennessee. And in Townsend, I arrived about at midnight, and my friend Edgar was already waiting for me there, and I arrived with about 10% battery, which is 50 miles. This is my homie.
Oh yeah.
We gotta be quiet because actually I had to drive uphill and to this lodge, and they have freaking one Tesla destination charger. It's like in the middle of nowhere. Check it out. So it's gonna be charging 32 miles an hour, and it's gonna take 7 hours to fully charge. Yeah, so super lucky. All right, so next morning it is fully charged. Let's see. Yep, 250 miles. Now let me tell you, that trip going back was not as smooth as going to Tennessee, because I started driving from the top of the mountain, and you have to take into consideration that if you do not have internet, it will not route you through Superchargers. So I had to drive down without internet from the top of the mountain, and then when I got GPS and internet connection, it finally started showing me the route that I should take. And it took me through some country roads compared to the highway. So for good 2-3 hours, and it was raining, it was foggy. It kind of sucked where I had to drive 50-60 miles an hour. On the positive side, it would give me more range, but it was a little different. I was not driving on the highway for straight 2 hours. And I saw a lot of cool houses and architecture that I would miss out for sure on the highway. But if I would do it next time, I would plan out this a bit better. So here are some tips I would like to give you guys if you're going on a road trip like this, whether it's a Tesla or general electric vehicle. So first thing first, learn to trust your car. And I mean, don't just blindly trust it by just looking at GPS and that tells you, for example, that in 2 hours you have to stop and charge at this particular location. So what I would do is, if it's not a Supercharger, if it's a regular charger, I would go on Google and read the reviews about this particular charger to make sure it's actually operational. But the Tesla chargers are pretty cool, because on the map, on the GPS, it would actually tell you how many styles are available. So let's say if there are 8 styles total, it would tell you a little circle with the number 3, and that 3 of them are available and 5 are being used. Next tip, drive slow. And I don't mean like drive super slow, but the slower you drive, the more mileage you get. So when you start driving over 80 miles an hour or even 70, your battery starts draining a lot faster. So if you keep it in that 60-75 range, you will get way more miles per your battery. So that is a good tip for you to know. Also, if you're driving downhill, you will get regenerative braking, which means you will be adding mileage to your battery. If you're driving uphill, you will be losing your mileage. Make sure you always have a backup plan. So let's say if you're going to your final destination and you Google there is a charging spot there, I would always make sure there is another one maybe on a 50-30 miles radius, just in case something happens to that one. And if you're super paranoid, I would actually call the place and make sure that place has an operational charger. And also, it's good to have a backup plan, because what if you come there and there is only 1 or 2 chargers and they are already taken? So it's actually even good to have an extension cord, which I had, and a regular charger. So worst case scenario, you can charge from your hotel. Literally through the window, you can throw the extension cord and just plug in outside You will get 6 miles an hour, but it's better than nothing. Next tip, and this is for Tesla cars only, do not charge extra at the superchargers for what it's offering you. So for example, if it tells you to drive 2 hours and charge only 15 minutes at this particular location, trust me, it did the math for you way better that you could think of. And what actually will happen is you will charge, let's say, more often, 15 minutes here and 20 minutes there, instead of charging like 45 minutes straight. Because remember, the first 80% charges fast, the last 20 charges way slower. So the way it calculates, again, it will try to navigate you to the spots where you would drive less maybe, but you will also charge less. So that is a good tip, and I was following that and that worked out great. And the last tip is use the time to your advantage. Think about it. If this trip takes 15 hours on a Tesla, including the charging spots, and on a regular car 12 hours, this takes you 3 hours longer. But aren't you gonna stop to get gas? Aren't you gonna stop to go to the bathroom? Aren't you gonna stop to eat? So use the time to your advantage. And what I did beforehand, I checked out some of these supercharger stations, what amenities they had. And for example, if I see the place that I like to eat, let's say Panera, or I like to get coffee from, I will plan to actually have my lunch or breakfast there as I am charging. And also any other time that I need to go to the bathroom or anything like that, I need to grab a snack, or even to take a rest, I will go ahead and stop at the charging station. Well, if you sticked around all the way to this part of the video, I really appreciate it. And for you guys, I will throw some badass photos of the Tesla that I took on the screen just to thank you. So here they are. And my final thoughts on taking a car like this to a road trip that will take you a day is you gotta take into consideration that this will take you, for probably every 2-3 hours driving, extra 20-40 minutes charging. The charging locations are usually 5 minutes max off the highway, so that is not a big deal at all. I did not have any issues charging at the Tesla superchargers. The availability of the chargers were amazing. Like literally most of the chargers I never actually had to wait even once, and there were always like 90% of the chargers available. Some spots like in Atlanta were pretty busy, as you guys saw, but other than that, it was great. Make sure to double check the charging stations at your final destination, because some of those actually third-party chargers will be on maintenance or they will not be working, and that happened to me in the mountains. So always have a backup plan. Don't be paranoid, don't stress out, you will be fine. Have a regular charger with you. That is the worst case. Something happens, you can just plug into a regular outlet and get some juice. Driving an electric car is also cheaper than a gas car compared to different automakers out there right now. And also what I noticed, you do not get tired because you stop to rest every 2-3 hours. It makes sense, and it's actually to your advantage. I felt driving way more safe. Autopilot was amazing. I was using on the highway pretty much 90% of the time. You just gotta make sure you are actually paying attention and holding the steering wheel here and there, because it will bark at you that you're supposed to at least touch your hand. But it was a breeze, let me tell you that. I did this drive to Tennessee twice before in my Audi A4, and it is a comfortable new car. But I was so tired by the end of the trip, super tired. And because I had to stop and rest and eat and chill, I was driving. It was a breeze. It was so much more relaxed and chilled than a regular car, and honestly it did not even take that longer because you would stop anyways. And lastly, let me show you some valuable information from this trip with all the data from this trip. How long it took me to charge, how many miles I had to go in total, and compared to regular car, how was the car projecting my mileage and the battery life opposed to what I actually got. Which you can see here, it is actually pretty similar to what actually happened in real life. I had to stop and charge 7 times, where in regular car you would have to stop 4 times to get gas. And here is some just random data off of the internet, how much money it would cost you to fill up, let's say, Honda Civic, Audi A6, and how much this cost me round trip. So for example, here you can see it cost me about $95 what I paid in superchargers round trip. On a regular car, it would cost you pretty much almost as double. On the affordable side, Honda Civic cost you about $160. That is a lot of saving, and of course, if you're using the supercharger, you will save a lot, but you could save even more if you buy the car using my link, and we both get 1,000 miles free supercharging. I think I already mentioned this in this video like 3 times, but just a friendly reminder, shameless plug. And one last thing is, I went on Instagram and I asked you guys some questions about this video, so I would like to answer them now. There is a question here: did you put an autopilot and sleep? No, but I got real comfortable. And let me tell you that, don't get too comfortable. Yeah. No question, but just take care and be careful. Oh, thanks, man. For sure. Did I buy extra batteries? Yeah, you know, it's a good idea. Like a little battery in the trunk compartment, just you know, to get an extra mileage. I wonder if Tesla will come up with like a battery pack as an option to get like extended range. Compare it to like you buy it right out. And Tua was asking if recharging was ever an issue, especially the time. Well, I hope by this point of the video I answered your question. If not, I really did a horrible job. But long story short, it wasn't an issue, but the chargers for regular cars at like really remote locations might be an issue. Just make sure to check out if they are actually working, because a lot of them won't, and it will not tell you on Google. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was not way too long, and I hope you got a lot of valuable information, and I hope this video will help you to prepare for your road trip on an electric car, with whether it's a Tesla or any other automaker out there. Be happy, don't stress out. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I will be happily answering those. And thank you so much for watching one more time. See you next time. Peace!